What up, though, Detroit? Hello, world, and welcome again to another podcast of Detroit ByCycle. Here at Detroit ByCycle, we are all about the love, benefits, art, culture, food, and the people we meet on bikes from the Detroit area and beyond. With me today and every recording, we have Mr. Bruno.
What's going on, Henry? How you doing, bro?
Oh, man, fantastic. And always Bobby Brown.
What's up? What's up, people?
And you know, I realized that I never say my name. I am Henry Ford II.
Henry Ford. How y'all forget that?
Yeah,
people?
right. You know what I'm saying?
No introduction needed.
No,
Y'all
right.
know.
You're going to get down to where you just one name.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Just call me Henry.
Just
Yeah.
Henry. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that's, people know you.
So today on our show, I always get excited when we book guests here because it's really the meat of what's going on here around the city and about cycling in general.
Correct.
And today, you know, we are had a discussion about just yesterday about a gentleman you talked to about riding and wondering if you should teach him how to ride because he
Oh, yeah.
has
yeah.
not.
Hey, I didn't even know that was possible.
Right.
Like, I met a guy the other day, yesterday, and he told me, he was an older gentleman. He had told me he had never rode a bike. He didn't know how. He was in his 70s. And I was like, dude, how's that possible?
Right.
And he explained to me, like, he was born during the war, and during the time that he would have been riding a bike, they weren't available.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the steel wasn't available, the rubber wasn't available, none of that was available. And by the time the war was over and rationing was over, and he had grown, you know, he had passed the
opportunity.
ride, right?
Right.
He had missed that window of opportunity of magic.
And that just brings up the fact of the privilege at the time were the ones that got to ride.
Yeah. They would have been bikes that were pre-war.
Right.
Yeah, they would have been riding pre-war bikes and, you know, with old patched up tires.
Right. So just to tie it into our guest today is that, you know, we are privileged to be able to ride our bikes.
Oh, yeah.
And there are people who aren't as fortunate as us. And knowing that, we tend to want to give back and do some volunteer work. Where our focus of the show today is about volunteer work. And I think one of the most historic Detroit entities that kind of pushed the work of volunteering and helping the less fortunate is the group you all locally should know is Focus Hope. And today we have in the house the volunteer coordinator, Tom Josaitis. Josaitis, yes. And
They have a pill for that now.
So welcome, Tom.
That is a family joke.
I'm sorry.
So welcome, Tom, Focus Hope. Thanks for joining us. And we really appreciate you giving your time for us here today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Appreciate you inviting me.
Now, those who are local listening from Detroit should have definitely heard of Focus Hope. You guys just celebrated your 50th year anniversary last year.
Yes, sir.
Briefly, can you give the people out there a short history lesson on what Focus Hope does and how it started?
Yep. Focus Hope was founded in 1968, and it was really founded as a direct result to the rebellion and riots that happened in 67. Our two co-founders, Father William Cunningham and Eleanor Josaitis, they just were really disturbed by all the actions that were taking place at the time, and they wanted to get together and make a difference. So the heart of Focus Hope's mission statement is intelligent and practical action to overcome racism, poverty, and injustice. So, you know, when those two got together, what they really wanted to do, their very first thing, there was so much racial tension at that time, is they just wanted to bring people together. That was their initial goal. Civil rights organization, let's get people together, let's celebrate diversity, you know, let's celebrate racial harmony, and let's all move together in a positive direction. And that's really how it all started. And from there, it just kept escalating. So the very first program they started was in 1971, which is our commodity supplemental food program that feeds about 44,000 low-income seniors every month.
Wow.
And then after that, they started wanting to address the workforce training, skill job training end of it. That was probably in about the early 80s, 81, that they really started kicking off a lot of their workforce development, job training programs and education programs. And then slightly after that, they started the Center for Children, which is 31 years old now and currently has about 250 kids going there, ranging from 6 weeks old to 5 years old, no cost, really high quality child care. So try and just do whatever we can to help.
You're stretching it out. I mean, currently you have, 12 services right now? Ranging from, like you mentioned, food program and youth organizations, but there's Center Career Connections for vocational training, youth development, neighborhood networking, also centers that children can visit and.
Yep. We really trying at this point right now, we're trying to cover the base from children all the way up to seniors and everything in between.
That's
Focus
amazing.
trying to be a part of servicing the community.
Right, as a lifelong partner to the community instead of
Definitely.
Exactly.
Definitely.
That's a little bit of the history of then. What's going on with Focus Hope right now?
Well, we have gone through some tightening of the belt like a lot of nonprofits have in the last couple of years. We have a new CEO that's been with us for 4 or 6 months now.
That's
Portia
Roberson,
Roberson,
right.
I'm really excited that she's there. And, I was just laughing the other day because one of my co-workers called us the OG of nonprofits.
For sure.
And I'm like,
Right, 50 years.
right.
So
Back in the day,
You get to do that.
Right.
You get to do that.
when they started this, it was a lot of new stuff. The father and Eleanor did a lot of stuff that wasn't happening.
Just for our listeners, let's
Right,
clear
to
this
make
up.
the connection.
I know you keep using the word Eleanor because that's her name, but that is your mother.
That is my mother.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, powerful. Like,
Yes.
you hear stories.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah, groundbreaking. Just powerful woman, a great leader and follower, because that's part of what leading is
Absolutely.
listening to what people need and then providing it for them.
Yes.
You guys do an amazing job, man. We're just so proud to have been part of anything that you do. And for most of us, for myself and Henry, I know that we met you personally through slow rolls. You had done a few slow rolls.
And Palmer Park.
And Palmer Park, right?
Yes.
But Henry, I don't know if you recall, but actually the first time I met you was on a Beat the Train ride with my son. And we were in Los, at the after ride, Los Glanes. And I was with my son who actually turned me on to Beat the Train. And,
Right.
And you started talking about Palmer Park, and I was like, "Oh, I grew up in that area." And,
Cool.
and that
Okay.
was the very first time I met you.
Right on. Right on. Shout out to Beat the Train.
Right. Blatant plug
Yeah,
for a
right.
ride. Yeah. Anytime we can do that, that's
For
good.
sure.
Palmer Park, Beat
Yep.
the Train, Slow
Yep,
Roll.
all of them.
Great plugs.
Fat Kid.
Fat
Yeah,
Kid.
fat kids for sure.
Midnight.
I haven't done that ride yet, and I got to do that
Yeah,
ride.
that's
All
that
right,
Tuesday
all
night
right.
joint.
So, for myself, I am definitely a product of the Focus Hope branding, I should say. My grandmother was definitely part of the food assistance program back in the day, eating many meals for sure. So definitely thank you for that, because I know times were tough in our family for sure. Shortly after my short stint at college, I came back to Detroit to pursue other avenues and looked at Focus Hope, and they had machinist training program, went through that, did very well, got into factory, did some factory work for a while, learned a lot through that machinist training program, very hands-on, the staff, the teachers, all knowledgeable individuals from all different types of fields. And if you're hands-on and want to be in machining, definitely check it out. After that, my passion was definitely in technology. I found out that Focus Hope had started the ITC program, and I went back, while still working in the factory. And I was like, yeah, this is my passion. This is what I want to do. Went through the computer program. Shout out to Miss Hermine Turner if you're out there.
She still works for us.
She does.
Yep.
Oh, I have to stop by there and holler.
That's what's up.
She was my teacher.
Yeah, that's that community love.
Yeah.
Man.
Yes. She taught me a lot. She definitely taught me a lot. How to think outside the box. Good customer service skills, which all of that wisdom is still imparted on me today. And for me, I just want to say thank you to you, Father Cunningham, your mother, Miss Roberson. I have to meet you one day as well. But Focus Hope has definitely been instrumental in my success personally.
Yeah, that's one thing that I'm really impressed and proud of Focus Hope is that they've been pushing the vocational skills for years, and now our country is realizing, people are not being trained properly on how to do things with their hands.
Yeah.
And now there's a big rush and a big education of trying to now get this thing going back again. So for you to provide that for so many years.
Yeah, and that's kind of like you had mentioned early what's going on with Focus Hope. Mm-hmm. So in our, that we've been rethinking everything and kind of, like I said, a lot of nonprofits over the years had to tighten up their belt. So that's kind of where we're really going back. We're really going back to our roots and workforce training, workforce development, and education is our main. That's what we're good at. That's what Focus Hope is known for. Like
hey,
Bobby,
I'm here to tell y'all, please.
Yeah, if you can get people through those programs, then you don't have them coming through the doors as much there's less demand for food insecurities. There's less food insecurity.
And Bobby, tell me if I'm right here, but I think what really made Focus Hope stand out is Father and Eleanor were really big on, it's not just we don't want to just teach you a skill, but we want to teach you soft skills. We want to, we meet you where you're at. When you walk into Focus Hope, we look at every single person individually.
Yes.
What are your roadblocks? What's going to prevent you from succeeding at this? What can Focus Hope do to make sure you're successful? And, I think I give a lot of credit to a lot of the teachers that have been with Focus Hope for years. But that is our thing. Like, we want to address, we want to make sure you're successful, and whatever we have to do to make that happen, we're going to help you do that.
I would full wraparound service is what Focus Hope is. They're going to do everything in their power possible to help you succeed, to help you reach the goals that you want to see for yourself. And if you're out there and all I can say is please go check them out. Please go check them out. If you're stuck somewhere or you feel like you're stuck doing something you don't want to do, look at the programs and the offerings that they have, because I'm here to tell you that it can happen. It can definitely happen. And I'm just one of many, many stories that come out of Focus Hope.
So Tom, actually 2 questions. How do you get your funding? What drives Focus Hope?
It comes from different sources. There's a lot of state funding, federal funding. There's a lot of nonprofits out there. We're all kind of competing for the same dollars. So we get a lot of corporate funding. We have been extremely fortunate over the years to have so many really good corporate partners.
Cool.
Father and Eleanor were really good, and that was one of their very biggest strong points, in my opinion, is they partnerships, man. I remember my mom back in the day, before I really had a whole grasp of what Focus Hope was doing. It was just partnerships. And they made some really good partnerships back in the day. So, the automotive industry, the big 3, they're tier 1 suppliers. Just so many corporations that have been supporting Focus Hope.
Relationships have kept
for the years.
Going.
And what's made them great is it's not Father and Eleanor back in the day. They were like, hey man, we don't just want your money. You got to be a part of this. You got to come on board the train. It wasn't just about giving us a donation. It was be a part of it.
Making them an investor.
Yeah.
Right. Get invested in what we're doing and come to us. How can you help us train students and stuff? So
that we can give you back as employees.
Right. And so we have a lot of those good partnerships to this day that we still have folks come to us and say, hey, we want this. We need this workforce. We will pay for the program and you train them. We'll hire them. We just had a big deal with Flexengate, which is a big automotive supplier opening a new plant. They came to Focus Hope. Hey, we want you guys to do all the pre-hiring training and kind of.
So they know when somebody shows up, that person has the skill set.
Right. Yeah. They know when they go through Focus Hope's training, when they leave there, they're going to come ready to work.
Reputation right there speaks for itself. That's awesome.
I definitely attest to that. Going through that, I felt ready. And it definitely showed. Just when I talked to some of the people who took other avenues and we all got to the same place. I noticed. Hey, maybe their avenue was a little different, but mine was, I think, right on the spot. Everywhere I've walked into, I've been able to get going right out of the gate, with
fantastic.
Little to.
It's really powerful.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It is.
Yeah.
So, being the volunteer coordinator, you work with a lot of people. You're out there during the Focus Hope events and spreading the good word. What can the people do aside from initial, volunteer work? What else can listeners do to help out Focus Hope or get involved?
The lots of ways. Volunteers, we could not do what we do without volunteers. Focus Hope utilizes between 15 and 20,000 volunteers a year.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
So absolutely could not do what we do without volunteers, primarily in our food program. That's where we use the most of our volunteers and
distribution and
food handling.
As I mentioned earlier, we give food assistance to about 44,000 low-income seniors a month.
That's amazing.
And of those, about 14,000 are homebound. So we need to box that food up and then deliver
transport
it to
them.
right. So right there is a huge amount of volunteers.
It's a big effort.
Box the food up and then to deliver it. Then the seniors that do have the ability to come to Focus Hope and pick up their food, we use volunteers there as well. We like to make it a warm, inviting atmosphere. We try and make it have the feel of like a grocery store where you're coming in.
Cool.
I do remember that. I remember that as well.
It's just a little more inviting. We have volunteers there. It's cool to see the way the volunteers interact with the seniors. Just the other day, I saw some crazy joking around and laughing going on between some seniors, some volunteers we have. But just trying to make it a friendly situation. Our Center for Children, we use a fair amount of volunteers there as well, just coming in, reading to the kids, helping the teachers in the classroom, play with the kids during recess. So volunteers are huge for us. We simply could not do what we do without volunteers. So that's huge. Obviously donating. We rely on, state and government funding, corporate donations, and individual donating as well. So, any nonprofit, it's got to keep the money flowing. You got to pay for
it goes out fast enough, doesn't it?
Yes,
right?
it does.
So volunteer people, volunteer.
Yes. If you don't have money, you have time.
Right.
Yeah, and volunteer. That's a big thing. I believe right now the federal standard of what the value of a volunteer is somewhere around like $22 an hour. That is considered the national what a volunteer is worth. So that adds up, man. It's not all about just the paper money.
Cash,
You're giving your time. That's equally
valuable.
important. So. Yeah.
So, what's going on in your mind within Focus Hope on the future? What do you anticipate, or what can you tell us that's in the pipeline?
I think we like I said, over the last couple of years, we had to tighten things up a little bit. We had to figure out, what are we good at? I think there was a point where Focus Hope was almost trying to do
too much.
Trying to
we
be all
kinda
things
had
to all
a-
needs.
Gotcha.
And like I said back in the day when we were the OGs of nonprofit, like we were it. So we could,
Yeah. So there was nobody
now
else.
there's a lot of other, great nonprofits doing similar stuff. Focus Hope kind of has a broad spectrum. There's a lot of nonprofits out there that may focus on one part of what we do,
Sure.
but so there, like I said, there's a lot of nonprofits. We're all competing for the same dollars, but we're really kind of going back to our roots, and the big area is job training, career training, workforce development, and then we're really, we started as a civil rights organization. Kind of over the years, a lot of people, when you say Focus Hope, that's not what immediately comes to mind is not the civil rights part of it. It was our food program or job training. So we want to go back to those roots a little bit too.
Okay.
We have a new director of advocacy, equity, and community education. So, we want to really be that voice again of standing up, what's wrong. There's a lot of systemic racism still going on. We want to be the voice that, hey, let's address these issues. Bring the not that we need to bring racism back to the table, but we want to be a voice that people can, say, yeah, here's Focus Hope again talking about this. Let's talk. Let's talk about it. Let's not just try and brush it under the table, or let's not act like it's not out there. Let's deal with it. So we're going back to those roots and really trying to pick up our workforce development training. We got some great stuff now. We have, engineering programs, machinist training, truck driving, which is the shortest of truck driving, IT. We just started a robotics training, so a lot of the robots that are on the assembly lines.
Okay.
Now we just started a new program where you can learn to be either program the robots, be a technician to repair them, operator, high-low driver, welding. So, like you said, going back to some of the skilled trade stuff that there's a big shortage of. So we want to provide programming that's needed in this area.
And with the Detroit developing, that's the money will stay here, and they'll can live here and use those skills and put it back into the city too.
Yeah. So
fantastic, gentlemen. Any other?
I'm just so proud for the work that you guys do in the city of Detroit. I just want to, for me and mine, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah,
we really do appreciate
thank you.
It's
appreciate
great stuff.
That.
No, I mean, I've trust me, I've been out here. I tell anybody, go check out Focus Hope.
Yep.
People always ask me, where'd you go to school? Where'd you get your training from? And I'm like, Focus Hope, and their mind is like blown sometimes because they're expecting me to say, one of the big schools, but this is the biggest school. Y'all don't realize.
Right.
So,
no, I was just gonna say thank you again.
Yeah.
We love hearing the stories. It's amazing to me just how I hear just all over the place somebody like, hey, yeah, my mom received food back in the day from Focus Hope, or our family, or, oh, I went through the training program, or all the time.
Nice.
And the Focus Hope cheese.
Yes.
The shaking hand.
How
cheese,
many
man.
times I hear
that was a staple.
What y'all know about Farina?
Yeah, that was that kept the stomach from sticking together some days, man.
I just got to say, one of my real latest funny stories. I always hear so many funny stories about Focus Hope cheese, but you guys all know Charles Barbecue Garden, Charles Collier. We all know him riding. So, he got married last year, and I was fortunate enough to get invited to his wedding and a few other of the cycling crowd that we all know. But so here we are. We're at his reception, and we're chilling, and he had entertainment going, but a little small part of his entertainment was he had a comedian come up and do some stuff. But one of his spiels was Focus Hope food. So here I am, like as soon as he said, y'all know about the Focus Hope food and the Focus Hope cheese, and he's telling these funny stories. Everybody in the room that knew me is looking at me.
I hope he laughs.
Everywhere.
I hope he finds it funny.
Sure.
But it's just, I love hearing all those stories. It's just,
50 years worth. So
Right. That's OG for real. That's OG
true
status.
OG. Yep. Tom, again, thank you for all you do.
Yes.
Thank you for spending time with us today. And listeners, go volunteer.
Please do.
Yes,
Absolutely.
If I can I do
Do
two
it.
quick
Oh, yeah.
little
Do it.
plugs?
Yes.
Check out our website,
Yes.
www.focushope.edu.
We'll be in the show notes.
If you're interested in any programs, volunteering, anything, you can find that all there. I did catch word right before I left work that we are having like a workforce job training open house in May.
There you go.
I don't know that the exact date's been set up yet, but check it out in May. You can come down to Focus Hope. You can see all, get all the information about all our programs. Just walk in. It's going to be an open house. As far as volunteering, again, you can find it from our website or just email volunteer@focushope.edu. I personally monitor all those emails that come in, but if you have any interest in volunteering, whether it be a group or an individual, hit me up.
There you go.
I will definitely respond to you.
You're the man.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
for having
you.
me.
Hey, if you don't mind, if you got some time, maybe you could hang out and we could maybe go through some questions that we normally ask our guests. Is that cool?
Sure.
Oh, yeah. My goodness. I totally.
Rapid fire questions.
Right.
I'm a little nervous about it.
Oh, man.
Here they go.
Pardon me. So, like all of our in-studio guests, we do have a rapid fire section where we have 5 quick questions that just require a short, brief answer. And we'll give Bruno the bell. He'll keep you in
I'm
line.
going to keep you on time.
All right.
Just when you thought you were off the hook.
Hey, that's our producer, Ryan, guys. Hey, Ryan, step up to the mic. What's up,
Shout out
Ryan?
to Ryan.
What's up, guys?
What's up, man? Shout out to Ryan, guys.
Yes.
He makes one of us sound better.
I wonder who that is.
Yeah, I'll let you guess which one.
Our guest. All right, Tom. Describe your first bite.
My biggest hero back in the day when I was little was Evel Knievel Man. So I never had the really sweet stingray with the shifter or nothing, but whatever I could piece together with the banana seed and the fork. And,
Yep.
dude, I was the wheelie king back in the day.
Yep.
Forever.
Yeah.
And then we'd line the neighborhood kids up on the ground and see how many we could jump.
Did you really ride if you didn't try that,
Right.
though? Like, for real.
You didn't jump.
tried
You
that.
weren't riding.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Question 2. What's your favorite ride? So destination or location?
I'm not just saying this because of you, Henry, but really my favorite ride is your ride. I love
man.
the Palmer Park.
That Palmer Park
Shout out to
joint.
Palmer
It's
Park.
nice, man.
Wow.
Hey,
Thank
my wife,
you.
Janet, both of us, that's our
that's-
I really
favorite ride.
appreciate it.
that's that
Palmer
grown
to
and
the
sexy
people.
ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, Palmer to the people.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Third question. So Bruno's caught you out in the streets riding. Of course, you're on my ride. We see you on Slow Roll. Were you always riding bikes, or is it just recently?
Like after, my kid crazy era and all that stuff. I think I heard on one of your earlier podcasts, once I got a keys to a set of cars.
Right,
and
right.
Yeah, right. It was a
Bike,
rap.
what?
Yeah, right.
Like I
So it was
said,
a lot of years went by. But actually, I got into mountain biking about 15 years ago.
Okay.
So
nice.
I was hard, that's mountain biking. That's all I did. And it really was my son that I got into mountain biking with me. He just found this Pete the Train thing and said, "Hey, Dad, I'm gonna go check
Right
this
on.
thing out." And I think he was in high school, so he might have been 17.
Mm-hmm.
And he on his own said, "I'm gonna go check this thing out." And he did it a couple times, and he's like, "Dad, this is cool. Riding
Nice.
through the city.
Yeah.
I met all these
Right.
really nice people, and you need to come check
it
this
just
out."
takes that one time.
does.
That's it.
And
That is good.
I did that, and then it just from there, I loved it. The same thing, like riding through the city, the route. You guys know the
Oh,
Beat the
yeah.
train route. It
Shout out to
covers all
Andrew.
kinds of cool
Right.
Detroit areas.
Andy, we'll have you on.
I was addicted, and then it just kept going from there. And then the
Fantastic.
first time I came across the slow roll. I was like, what the heck is this? And this is awesome. And
Right, it was like kindred spirits.
Right.
You were like, I'm not the only one.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You didn't feel
that's how I
like,
feel
I did a
every
few.
time.
When I first saw the slow roll, I actually got stuck at it leaving Focus Hope
course.
one night. I had my mountain bike on the roof. I got stuck at Hamilton and Oakman, and there's probably about 150 people at that point. And I'm
right.
like, what's going on? You know, and they're all like, slow roll. And they're like, get your bike off the roof.
Come on.
And I went and got addicted immediately. And,
Yeah.
you know, just can't tell you how many people,
for
all
sure.
you guys, everything
Right.
that I've met
Yeah.
from that.
It's just
And
been amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. And
Yes, it has.
you know, I thought I knew Detroit growing up in Detroit, you know, until
Right.
I got out on
On a
some
bike.
of them
The
slow
funny-
rolls and the
Yep.
bikes and just being
There's
out there,
definitely-
it's just stuff you don't see.
Layers to Detroit.
Right. I mean, you think you know Detroit, but you know your Detroit.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know what
Get
I
on
mean?
the
Like,
bike
I'm
and-
still discovering. Like, I ride 4, 5, 6 times a week, and I try and ride different places.
Someplace
but
new, yeah.
I'm someplace new.
Yeah. It's,
What's your favorite Detroit flavor?
flavor as in
Anything
It
you
could
want.
be Coney dogs.
Yeah,
it could be
something manufactured
Verner's.
in Detroit.
It could be J. Dilla. It could be
the
your
Supremes.
Right.
oh, man.
It could be your Mustang outside.
I'm a car fanatic. Come on, I was always a motorhead, so love my cars. You know, food wise, I was a Lafayette, Coney Island.
okay.
That was it. If I was anywhere near downtown, I'm getting a Lafayette. But then when my daughter hooked me up to a Bucharest,
That $5 sandwich.
it was like,
That's
There isn't really a better $5 sandwich
Yeah.
in the city.
Is there?
No.
Right?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
yeah.
Let me know if there is. I'm
Right?
down.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm
any
fine
listeners
with
got
Okay.
any competition for
Right.
that? Let us know.
Yes, please do.
And last question: what is your one wish for Detroit?
You know, I'd really love to see the neighborhoods turn around in Detroit. You know, it's so cool. I moved to Detroit when I was 5. That's when my mom got involved in Focus Hope, and we moved to Detroit. And Detroit is downtown is the coolest I've seen in my whole life. It's downtown Detroit is looking awesome, but
It is
you know, just the neighborhoods, they need
some help.
they
yeah.
need some of these development dollars that the city's getting, and that's what I'd love to see. I'd love to see the neighborhoods in Detroit come back around, and
Sure.
you know, I'm all about the Focus Hope does so many things, but for me personally, it's the civil rights part of it. Just people getting together. I love different races. I was blessed to have a really diverse group of friends growing up. I grew up in the 7 Mile, Livernois area, and I just love the diversity
Diversity
that was
district, yep.
introduced to me. And we came from the suburbs and moved into the city. If my mom didn't get involved in Focus Hope, my life would probably be a
little
very
different. Yep.
thing right now. But I love just the diversity. I'd love to see just Detroit come back together, the neighborhoods, everybody.
Hopefully, with
working.
these greenways coming through, we can connect some of these neighborhoods.
Yeah.
and
I'm
make
excited
that a
for
little
that.
Link them
easier.
together
Yeah.
so they're not
Yeah.
islands,
Right.
you know,
Yep.
like isolation.
So just really like to see the neighborhoods turn around, people just get along. Can't we all just get along?
That's
and
what's up.
move in the same
Peace,
direction.
people.
So.
Peace.
Very good. Well, that's our 5 questions, ladies and gentlemen. And again, Tom, thanks for
Thanks
taking
for
the
having
time
me. I
to
really
come out.
appreciate you guys inviting me.
No, thank you. Thank you.
So, Bruno,
What's up?
you out there?
I was out there, man.
This time you came out to the OC.
I did. I came out to Oakland County. I came out to the lovely community of Clawson, Michigan,
Nice.
man. I was on North Main Street, 1511 North Main. That's a new location. For those of you who are not familiar with the new Albe's location. They've
Cool.
been there about 3 years. It's a beautiful location. And if you ever, in the history of ever, rode a BMX bike, you've probably been in an Albe's.
Nice.
They have every frame set, every manufacturer. I mean, they feature all the great bikes, you know, Kink, SE, Haro, S&M, Sunday bikes. They got a full line of apparel and all this stuff. And I just wanted you to hear this interview that I did, chopped it up with my man Filipowicz, his Mark Flip Filipowicz. See what they did there?
Right.
Yeah, he's cool people, man. I'm telling you, man, the guy knows. He's the owner, and on his bio it says he's the ADD haver, and you may be able to tell from the interview. So
Cool, man. Thanks.
please enjoy. What's going on, everybody? Real excited, honored, really, to have Mark Filipowicz, owner and ADD haver of Albe Bikes. What's going on, Mark?
Not much. Sitting here on a Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, Ryan, it's a beautiful day, man. I really do appreciate you taking time out to talk to all of us. So, this is a new location for you. You were in Warren.
We were in Warren for 26 or so years before we moved over here.
26 years, and now you're at Clawson. You're on North Main Street in Clawson. Some general directions for folks?
Basically, corner of Maple and Main, right across from the MGR movie theater.
Okay, yeah, and I got to tell you, I'm really impressed. It's a beautiful shop. The front of the store is well organized and beautiful, and you got great selection of BMX bikes and skateboards and clothing and apparel. But when you step into the back of the shop, your bike shop, the mechanical part and the shipping part, that's incredible.
We're not your normal everyday shop. Most of our business is mail order. We ship stuff all over the world every day. So the front half of the shop is a typical retail store, but the back is set up more for warehousing, shipping, and all that good stuff. Yeah,
there were. I was just being nosy. There had to be a couple hundred types of pedals. Just pedals alone.
Yeah, for sure.
So some of the brands that you sell, I noticed on the floor were Kink, the S&Es, Haro, S&M, and Sundays. That's a really nice selection.
We try to. There's hundreds of brands out there, and we try to be kind of picky with the ones we do sell. Any of the ones we sell in stock are all stuff we all stand behind. So.
All right, and if you don't have it on the floor, obviously you can help folks get one.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, there's tons of other brands. As long as we don't think it's something that's going to get you hurt, then we're happy to get it for you.
I'm sure our listeners will appreciate that, man. The typical customer that comes in here, can you describe that person?
We get a wide variety. Anywhere from the kid that just started riding the skate park, at 10 years old to, grandma and grandpa. You'd be surprised how many dudes in their 50s and 60s now are actually riding BMX bikes.
Okay, and that's the larger size?
Yeah, the SE bikes tend to be a big brand in that market now.
Right, they make out the Ripper, is that right?
Yeah, the big Rippers and the OM Duros and the bikes like that, the D blocks.
Right, yeah, they seem like something I might be interested in riding someday. In addition to BMX bikes, which your selection is extensive, you guys are known really, in addition to that, for being some of the finest wheel builders. I've had people tell me in the world. Is that true?
I would stand behind that.
Okay.
Our main wheel builder we call Turbo. I'll bet over the years has built tens of thousands of wheels. If you've ever seen somebody in the X Games, there's a good chance that Turbo built his wheels.
Okay, so yeah, that's not just
people come to us for a reason.
That's just not rhetoric. That's just people. Okay.
And technically, he is the world record holder as being the fastest wheel builder in the world as well.
Oh, and that would be the Turbo part?
That'd be Turbo. Yeah, he's on YouTube it or Vimeo. It's on Vimeo somewhere.
Okay, Turbo building a wheel.
Turbo Albe's wheel build.
There you go. Okay, I knew I came to the right place, man. Thank you very much.
Of course.
What are the normal kind of repairs then that you do? Like when somebody brings in their bike, what normally is coming in? Is it a broken frame, a tacoed wheel?
It depends on the style of bike. Obviously, most of what we do is BMX stuff. There's a lot of wheel buildings,
Right.
People wrecking wheels and we have to relace them. There's definitely the average kid that has no clue how to take care of his bike, so just typical maintenance and tune-ups. But then we also work on everyday style bikes too. We're in a pretty nice neighborhood, and a lot of the locals bring in their typical mountain bikes and whatnot too. We have no problems working on that stuff.
Right. Non-discriminatory maintenance department. That's nice. What is the future of BMX? Where do you see it going next?
BMX has always been a really legit sport, but it's become more mainstream now. In the next Olympics, there will actually be BMX Park. So there is an Olympic BMX team in the USA now. So I think that we're going to see BMX growing even faster in the next couple of years.
Okay, it won't be a niche to the bike community. It'll be,
it's mainstream
Wheaties
right, boxes
right,
and all
yeah,
that good jazz.
All that good stuff.
There's I think the Olympic team probably has 10 or 12 people on it. There's 4 or 5 of them are women.
Okay, so that's awesome.
BMX is branching out, and they're all ages, sizes, types.
Okay, I would be remiss if I didn't ask this question. A friend of mine asked me to ask you. He said, when can we expect the Haro Lineage Master, the 2019 Bash Guard bikes coming out?
No, I just got word from Haro that they arrived at their California warehouse today. We should have them in the next week or so. However, if you don't have one on pre-order, you better call me real fast.
Okay, and where can they get a hold of you at?
You can call us at Albe's at 248-951-2475, or you can shoot us an email at sales@albes.com, or there's a couple left for pre-order on the website at www.albes.com.
Okay, so if you're looking for the Bash Guard, the Haro Bash Guard, you definitely want to get on that soon then.
Very, very soon.
Let you know. One last thing, I have to ask. I know you guys put on this old school bike show, and it's coming up in May, and it's right here at Albe's in Clawson. But you're having BMX legend Matt Hoffman on the coming out.
Matt Hoffman will be here,
and in addition, you're also going to have the Mike Finnegan from Roadkill. Is that also true?
That is true.
Okay, so everything I've heard about Albe's is true. You make great wheels.
Well, everything we've talked about.
We talked about some things off there. Those were true, too, so that's cool. I just want to thank you for giving us a moment of your time. I know you're very busy. This is that time of year. And thanks for coming out.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. I had a great time there. It's a great place to go and hang out and talk bikes and see bikes. You maybe if you're not a BMXer, there's still stuff there for you because it's bike knowledge.
Yep.
Okay.
I can get some pegs for the 10-speed.
Oh, you can get some pegs for the 10-speed.
All right, cool.
Cool.
I want me a top bar pad.
Oh yeah, you're gonna go jump kids again.
Take it old school.
You know what I'm saying? Hey,
I ran that random piece of plywood,
Right.
cinder blocks.
Let's go.
Get to the corner.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Just hope you got enough speed.
Yeah.
Hey, I do want to mention though.
That bike show. They got a bike show, I heard.
Yeah. In the
Coming
interview. Yeah, they got a bike show coming up May 4th, and it's an old school show. They've been doing it for the last couple of years. It's May 4th, starts at 2, and they're going to have BMX legend Matt Hoffman.
He's the Hawk, right?
The Hoff.
The Hoff.
I thought he was
With an O.
Yeah, the Hoff. The Hoff.
The
Yeah.
Hoff.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
I saw the guy go unconscious one time, like off a jump. He's just like this massive jump, didn't hit it.
13 tricks and
Yeah, right, done.
done.
In addition, there's going to be the Mike Finnegan from the TV show Roadkill will be on. He'll be at the event as well. So come on out. It's like he said, it's free. I'm planning on going. So
Yeah, check it out.
yeah, absolutely. Just maybe to get a picture with the legend or something,
Hey, hey.
Maybe he'll sign my top bar pad.
I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
All right, Bobby. What's the deal, man? You up?
Yeah, y'all know where to find us, the socials and all that good stuff. Please leave comments, concerns, questions on Instagram, Twitter, Gmail, our website, Detroit ByCycle, ByCycle, y'all. Just do a Google search. I think we'll pop up somewhere.
We should be
eventually.
there, yeah.
In fact, the only way we don't want you to leave us a message is with your keys in the side of our car.
Yeah. No,
Other than that,
no.
please leave us a message,
Yes.
with snow angels or anything. Man.
Something,
Just let us know.
Something. Hey, the bad signal.
What about on the side of your bike?
No, don't touch my body.
That's not
Even worse.
Whoa,
Even
yeah,
worse.
Do the car before you do the bike.
Right. Please
My car's
believe it.
only there to get my bike there.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right. Please believe it.
You best believe.
So this week, since we had Mr. Tom Josaitis here, and we're talking nonprofits and all that good stuff, our three things are going to be our three nonprofits that we like. I would throw at the time, and I know he's not going to pick anything else other than Focus Hope. I mean, come on now, he's wearing the shirt and all that good stuff. Y'all can't see. But if you have to
born and raised,
if you have to pick one outside of your loving,
I volunteer for the Red Cross, dude. I've done a couple of their deployments where they send you away for 2 weeks.
Wow. Cool.
And I did Hurricane Sandy.
Oh, wow.
I actually met
Okay.
my wife Janet, that you all know.
Wow.
Cool experience.
Nice.
And then we went down to Houston
Oh, no
after
kidding.
they flood. So it's 2 weeks. We worked on what they call a IRV, which is their food trucks that drive through the neighborhood
Okay.
after they're devastated, passing
My
out
goodness,
food.
yeah.
Awesome. When I retire someday, if there is such a thing, I really would like to. I think I'm going to get a little more involved in that and try and do that on a regular basis.
Right on.
Good.
Helping people out always.
yes,
huh?
Red Cross.
Yeah.
Cross. I'm gonna jump in because I have to second that nomination because that was my pick. That is my pick. I'm not gonna say was my pick, but I haven't done any out of town things. I like to donate blood. I mean, I know how much blood can help others. It's a resource that we all have. It's ours. It's it's in us. It will come
You'll
back.
make more.
You'll make more. Yes. So it's the one thing you have that you can't control, and I definitely try to do my donating of blood at least several times a year if possible. The impact that it can make for so many people, you just don't realize how many lives you can save by just donating blood. If you're scared of needles, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Look the other way. Look the other way.
Look the other way. And so please, I definitely love the Red Cross. I've always believed in the things that they do, just not locally, but around the world, really. It's definitely a good global organization. And if you are willing, if you don't want to donate blood, donate your time too. If you're scared of needles, I'm sure you're not scared to help out. So get out there, get in the streets, volunteer. I mean, that is definitely the word of the day. If you can't give the blood, give your time too. But Red Cross, I definitely, that is my pick. That is my pick for sure.
So I think it may be a little obvious to most, but I got a secondary one too, just in case I get any hassles from y'all. But I am proud to be a 9-year going on volunteer of the People for Palmer Park. It's a park that I'm very fond of. It's a childhood park of mine, and went through some hard times. And because of Lenora and her tennis, she was the fire that sparked the organization that what it is right now. Being a nonprofit and representing the park and using our resources to maintain it and provide activities 7 days a week for the users of the park, of the neighborhoods it surrounds, and for anyone that's traveling through. So yes, Palmer Park is my favorite nonprofit. But as a secondary, I'll throw in WDET too, because I listen to them a lot.
Oh,
so.
of course.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yes, it is.
Oh, real quick. I'm sorry, Bruno.
Oh, do
I
your
know
thing,
you're
man.
just getting ready to start, but
It's okay, Henry.
we just had our membership meeting last weekend. So if you're interested, please all social media you can find People for Palmer Park. Please volunteer your time or donate and become a member. Bruno.
What up, guys?
What's up?
Those are really honorable things, man. That's really good stuff, man. That really is, man. That was heartfelt. Me, myself, personally, I got to go with Forgotten Harvest.
Awesome. Okay.
I think they do amazing work.
Sure.
Yes.
I think
They are awesome.
Thanks, man.
They
Yeah,
hook
I know.
us up a
Yeah,
lot
I know that
with
they are partners with you as well. I just read recently they gather 138,000 pounds of food a day. They process that many pounds of food a day. I'm glad that they do it. I'm sad that there's a need for them to do it. The food insecurity in Detroit is it's ridiculous. That you can't have what's going on downtown and have food inequity and housing inequity
just a few miles away.
Right. Yeah. I just, like you said earlier, we talked about we need to start to get in the neighborhoods.
Yeah. There's no reason anybody should be going hungry.
No.
Right. Absolutely not. No. So that's the one I picked, and
I think that's honorable too.
Yeah, you think so? Okay. I mean, you guys were like,
you provide the sustenance.
Yeah, I mean, it's the building block of many other nonprofits.
Sure.
They provide the building blocks so people can give.
Yeah,
and do what they do.
As much as I get around, I definitely see the Forgotten Harvest trucks all over the city.
Right, going to grocery stores.
They're at Focus Hope a couple days a week, bringing us a semi full of stuff.
Working hard.
Yeah.
Awesome place.
Well, thanks again, everybody, for tuning in and listening to us. Thank you to Tom and Focus Hope and all that you do. And again, just for you all that don't know, Detroit ByCycle is all about the love, benefits, art, culture, events, food, and the people we meet on bikes from the Detroit area and beyond.